Hello everyone, welcome back to Hello Integration World channel. This is Uma Shankar. In this session, we are going to develop an integration in Oracle Integration Generation 3. So as you know, OIC Gen 3 is a new upgrade version from Oracle which supports robust integration solutions. So as a part of this exercise, we are going to build a Abdin orchestration. We will pass supplier name as a parameter to integration and we will call the BIP report. We will generate the report output and we can perform two actions. The first action is to load the CSV file into SFTP server, and the second action is we are going to insert the data into ATP tables. Okay. In order to start with this integration, we need three connections. First one is the SOAP connection to access the BIP report, and second connection is the ATP adapter to invoke the database tables, and third connection is the SFTP server to place the file into FTP server location. Okay. So I am logged into the Oracle Fusion application. This is our report which we are going to call in the OIC integration. Okay, there are a couple of parameters we need to note down before starting the integration. Okay, so this is my report. Okay, this is my data model. First we have to identify the report file path, exactly where the file report is located. Okay, first we have to note down your report file path and also parameter. Okay, so I already note down these details in the notepad. Okay, and also we are running the this report for the parameter value. So I just mentioned the parameter value as Dell computers. Okay, so once you note down all the details, then you have to run the report to get the output. Okay, so you have to generate the report output format, right? So you have to run the report here. Just generate the report output for the any one parameter, any one supplier. Let's apply it. Okay, you just generate the report output, click on here, and you can export into CSV file. Okay, generate the CSV file. You can keep this file as a schema file. We can use this report file format for the reference. Okay, this is my report output format. Okay, so based on this report output format, I created a table, backend table, so where we are going to insert the data. Okay, if you see this table, I have taken 10 columns for insert the data in this table. Okay, okay, supplier name, supplier number, vendor ID. Okay, there are a couple of columns I have created within this table. Okay, so I just connected to the OIC integration generation 3. This is the new upgrade version from Oracle. This is the new look and feel user experience. Okay, so let me start build the integration. So I already created connections in order to start this integration. So if you want to know the process, you can refer my previous videos. Okay, let's get into the developing the integration. So let's click on the design. So within the design, you have to click on the integrations. Okay, let's start with the creating a new integration. Okay, in this example, so we are going to build the Abdin orchestration. In generation 3, you can see the application integration. Okay, the naming conventions are changed when we compare to generation 2, right? So we are going to build the application integrations. Okay, let me give some meaningful name. Okay, access supplier extra integration. Okay, so description, this integration to extract the supplier master data. Okay, just click on create. Okay, so my starting point is the REST connection, because we are going to configure the request and response payload, right? So we are going to pass the supplier name as a parameter, right? To call the BIP report, we need to pass the supplier name as the. So this is my parameter value. Okay. So P underscore supplier. So let me navigate here. I'm going to configure the REST connection, right? So let me configure the REST connection. USR REST trigger connection. So we are going to extract process suppliers. You can give the name as process suppliers. Okay. So click on continue. Okay. So what is your endpoint? Okay. Process suppliers. Okay. So I'm going to select the post method. Okay. So let me configure the request and response payloads. Click on continue. Select the JSON sample. Okay. Click on inline. So I'm going to pass the supplier name as a parameter. In order to do that, just I'm going to define a parameter value as an input. Okay. Just I can mention P underscore supplier. Okay. So by default, I can mention as a Dell computers. Okay. Okay. So click on continue. Continue. So I'm going to enable the response. Okay. So in the response, so we are going to receive the status of the integration. In case of failure, we can get the failure status. In case of success, we need a success status. Okay. So define the JSON payload. Okay. Status. So one of the column is status. Okay. Status is success. Okay. And total records. So how many records are loaded? Okay. Insert into ATP tables. We can mention that total records. Okay. Total records. So we are going to give the count of the records here. Okay. For now, you can just mention as the. Okay. Just. Okay. We are done with the JSON payload. Okay. We declare the status and also total records. Okay. In the total records, we are going to get the response. How many records are inserted into the ATP tables. Okay. Click on continue. Continue and finish. Save it. Okay. So this is our response. So now what we are going to do, we are going to invoke a BIP report, right? So we need to use the SOAP service, the external report SOAP service. We already created a connection in order to access the BIP report, right? So click on here. So I already configured it. Okay, this is my SOAP connection. So what do you want to call the endpoint? Invoke BIP. Click on continue. So this is the service, SOAP service, external report WS service, right? Here we are going to take the run report operation. Okay, we are going to take the run report operation. Okay, this is the operation name. I selected it. Okay, so automatically request object, response object, failed object, these values are getting defaulted. Click on continue. Okay, so if you want to accept the attachment in response, you can select this option. Otherwise, you can leave it as this. Click on continue. Click on finish. Okay. So in order to invoke the BIP report, we have to map the values. We have to set the couple of parameters. Okay. So this is the mapper. let me click on edit option. Okay. So in order to map these values, parameter values, there are a couple of parameters we need to define in the assign activity. I don't want to do the hard code the values at the time of mapping. Okay. So I'm going to define those values and then we can use those variables for the mapping. So go back. So I'm going to take the assign activity here. Okay. So in the real time, whenever you are mapping any values, just but the best practice is to define the values in a variable. Okay. For that, you need to take a assign activity, click on the assign, take the assign here. Okay. We can declare the all the variables. Okay. So what are the variables we required? So in order to call the BIP report, the first one is the report file path. Okay. So I don't want to hard code these values at the time of the mapping. So I'm going to declare as a variables. Okay. So var underscore report underscore path. Okay. Report path. So this is the value. Okay. Okay. Next one is so what are the other variables? Okay. So and also you need once you generate the report output, you have to write the file into the OIC virtual location. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do, var underscore OIC path. Okay, the OIC file path, just mention this. Okay, my location is, just you can give any name, temporary or OIC, anything, any name is fine. Okay. Okay, so one more variable I'm going to define, var underscore count. Okay, so count means like in the response we are going to show how many records are inserted into the backend tables. Okay, for that I declared a variable with the var underscore count. Okay, so based on the requirement we can define the n number of variables here. Okay, and let me give one more variable, file format. Okay, var underscore format. Okay, the file format which we are going to generate CSV. Okay, CSV. So I defined the basic variables. Click on save. So now I'm going to start mapping the values. Okay, click on invoke BIP. So click on the body, run report, report request. Okay, let me finish the first basic variable declaration. So your attribute format, our attribute file format, already we defined a variable var underscore format, just map it. Okay, and also if you come down here, report absolute path. So already we have declared a variable var underscore report path. Okay, just map it. And also size of data chunk load. So either you can define in a variable, otherwise let me directly assign this value. Okay, in order to assign this value, click on the create node. Okay, so I'm going to use -1. That means we need to get the complete data from the fusion, right? So that you can declare it -1. Okay, this is also done. Okay, and now we can start time to define the variables. Okay, so here you can see the parameter name values node. Click on here. Okay, here you can see this, right? In the parameter values, click on the item. Within the item you have a name, right? This is the name. So your parameter name you can declare here. Okay, so let me activate this node. In order to activate, just click on this create target node. Okay, so your parameter name, this is my parameter name, p underscore supplier. Okay, either you can declare this value in the assign activity. Okay, for time being I'm just assigning here only. Okay, once it done, then you come to here values. Okay, here value we are passing from the integration, right? So the parameter value we have not declared. So what we can do, the parameter value which come from the request wrapper, right? Dynamically business will send the parameter name to the integration, right? So we already have a parameter value p supplier. Just let me map here. Okay, okay, just drag and drop within the values, you can map to the item. Okay, just within the values you have an item, just you can map this value. Okay, validate. So all the mapping is completed. Okay, go back, let me activate the integration. Okay, save it. So here you can see the activate option. Okay, business identifier, click on here. So you can enable up to 3 tracking fields here. One field is mandatory to activate the integration. Take the P supplier here. Okay, save it. Okay, let me run this integration. Let's see. Okay, so let me activate the integration. Okay, activate. Okay, let me run the integration. Click on run. Okay, click on body. So this integration take the supplier name as a parameter. Based on the parameter value, this integration extract the output. Okay, click on run. So this integration successfully completed. Let's see, invoke BIP. Okay, message invoked BIP report. Come down. You can see the report output format. Okay, here base 64 format. All right, this is the base 64 format. Okay, report output is generated, right? So we need to convert the base 64 format to the actual file format, right? So in order to do that, we need to create a stage activity, and by using opaque schema we need to convert into the actual file format. That means either we can generate the CSV, either here HTML, any format we can generate it by using opaque schema. Okay, so basically when you run any report in Oracle Fusion, the report output format is base 64 format. Programmatically we need to create a stage activity. By using opaque schema we need to convert into actual file format. Okay, let's go back to integration once again. Now we are going to make next changes. Okay, deactivate the integration. Click on it option. Okay, now I'm going to take the stage activity, stage fail operation here. Okay, stage write base 64 format. Okay, continue here. So we are going to write the file into base 64 format. So here you can mention the file name. What is the file name you want to generate, right? You can give the file name with the timestamp. Okay, for now, so I'm going to give the file name is suppliers. Okay, master data. Okay, this is my file name. Okay, CS. I'm going to generate the file into CSV format, right? Specify the output file directory, right? This is the OIC virtual location, right? We already created a variable for this. Click on developer action. Okay, here you can see this, right? Variable OIC file path. Just take it. Okay, just continue. Okay, here you are going to select the opaque schema, right? Already I have created opaque schema. Okay, in order to enable the opaque schema, you need to select the XML schema XSD document. Okay, click on continue. Here select your opaque schema. Okay, so I'm going to select the opaque schema. Okay, click on continue, click on finish. Save it. Now we are going to do the mapping. Okay, let me open the mapper. So this is the Invoke BIP response. Here you can see that in the run report written operation, you can see the report output in bytes. Okay, so we need to convert that base 64 format to actual file format. That means file reference by using opaque element. Right, let me map this. Okay, that's it. Okay, so mapping is completed. Okay, so the last final mapper is to get the response. Okay, so whatever the actions you are writing here, you can put in the before this mapper, because in the final mapper we need to show the integration status and also total number of records are inserted into the ATP tables, right? So whatever the actions you are writing, you make sure that you have to write before this final mapper. Okay, this is the final response. Okay, so now we are convert the base 64 format into CSV format, right? So now we can start perform two actions. The first action is to insert into your ATP tables. Second action is to place the file in SFTP server, right? So let me activate this integration once again. Let's see what is the length of the your report output. What is the size of the report output file? Okay, let me save it. Go back. So let me activate this integration. Activate. Refresh. Let me run the integration. Now we can see the size of the report. Okay, run the integration. So the report is completed. See, this is the base 64 format generated. If you see the stage file write base 64 response, if you click here, you can see your file name, what file is generated, and also file type, and you can see the size. Right here, the size is 1300 bytes. Right, sometimes size is not generated. We can see the less size like 10 MB, 20 MB, 30 MB. So our requirement is to, whenever we have a size more than 100 MB, then only we can process the integration. That means we can insert into the ATP tables, and also we can place the file in SFTP server. Okay, so whenever we have a file size more than 100 MB or 200 MB, we can decide, right? Based on that, we can process the integration, right? So to handle this, go back, deactivate the integration once again. Click on edit option. Okay, so once you after the write the base 64 format, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the switch activity to handle the length, right? So okay, let me take the switch here. Let me take once again. Take the switch activity. Okay, so we can check the size from the stage file response, right? Let's see the stage write base 64 response. This is the stage base 64 response. Here you can see the size. Okay, in the ICS file, go to the properties. Okay, here you can see the size. Okay, from stage write base 64 response, you will get a size. Okay, take the size. Okay, if the size is greater than, okay, 100 MB, then only we need to process. Okay, save. Okay, so now what we are going to do, so our data is there in the virtual location. Now we are going to read the file and we can insert into the ATP tables. The first activity we can perform to insert into backend tables, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read the complete file, right? In order to do that, take this, okay, stage active once again here. Okay, so stage read ATP. Okay, that means we are going to insert the data into ATP. Okay, click on continue. Okay, so we are going to fetch the complete records. I'm going to select the read entire file, configure the file reference. Okay, just you can click on yes. So we know the file. Okay, click on developer action. So we know the file reference. So from stage write base 64 response, here click on write response. You have a, within the ICC file you have a reference. Take that file. Okay, okay, continue. Okay, now what I'm going to do, already we have downloaded the report output. We need to configure the report output here. Okay, the moment you select the file reference, now we are going to configure the your report output. Okay, click on continue. Let me select my report output. So let me download. In the download I can see the report output format. Okay, click on here. So I'm going to give the record name as the records, record set name is the RIC. Okay, you can give any name. Okay, so here you can select the column options. Okay, so I will make the one column as a mandatory. Click on continue, finish. Okay, save. Now I'm going to calculate the count of the records from this stage read file. How many records are fetched from this stage activity? So already we have created a variable. Okay, var underscore count here. In the assign activity we already create a variable, right? Var underscore count. I'm going to use that same count here. Let me take the assign activity. Take assign activity. Okay, click on here. Okay, so sometimes whenever you are taking assign activity, it will come before the stage activity. So that what you can do, you can use the cut and paste option. These options are available in Oracle GEN-3. You can just cut this action, just go here, you can paste the activity. Okay, you can paste here. Okay, so once you get the stage file read operation response, we need to know the count of the total records. Okay, click on the edit. Okay, so let me remove this. Let me create a new variable. Here already we have a variable var underscore count. Okay, click on the developer. Okay, count we are going to get from the stage file read operation, right? So stage file, where is the stage file? See, stage read file, right? Click here, read response records. So here you can see the records. So that we want to know the record counts, you have to use the count operation here. Count. Okay, put in a developer mode, take the count. Okay, So let me bring the node set here. Okay, this is the record, this is the node. Okay, okay, this will calculate the total number of record fetched from the your read file operation, right? Let me save it. So that this variable we can use in the response. Okay, so we can tell that how many records are fetched from the read file operation. Okay, now what I'm going to do, now I'm going to insert the data into backend tables, right? We already read the file, we need to insert the data, right? So whenever you are performing any kind of database operation, the best way is to take the scope activity. Okay, in case of any failure, we need to send a failure response, right? So that what I'm going to do, so I'm going to take a scope activity here, just drag and drop here. Okay, even you can change the scope name. Okay, scope insert into some meaningful name here. Okay, now I am going to do, so I am going to insert the data into backend tables. All right, so in order to insert the backend tables, so we need to iterate the values, right? So we already our data is there into stage read file operation. We need to iterate the each and every record. In order to do that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the for each activity, for each. Okay, for each activity you have click on the for each once again, click on edit option. From the stage read ATP response, stage read ATP response. Okay, we need to select the your repeating element. So our records are there in this read activity. So that what I'm going to do, I'm going to select the records. Okay, this is your current element name. If you want, you can change it. Otherwise, you can leave as it is. Okay, save it. So now, what we are going to do within the for each activity, we need to insert the data into backend tables. So that we need to call a ATP connection. Right? We already created a ATP connection. Let me configure this batch to ATP connection. Okay, so insert data. Okay, so what operation do you want to perform? You want to perform a operation in a table. Okay, insert, you can select the insert, continue. So here you are going to select the admin1 is our schema. Okay, this is my table name, select the table name. Okay, search. Okay, select the table, click on the import tables. Once you click on the import tables, it will ask you to enable the primary key value. Okay, so let me enable the primary key value as a supplier name. Click on continue, continue, finish. Okay, now let me save it. The moment you enable ATP database, then it will ask for the mapping. Click on here. We can do the mapping. So we have created a for each loop. We have a current element. Click on records. Okay, so we need to map column to column. Okay, these columns are from the for each loop. Okay, this is our current element. So what I'm going to do, supplier name to supplier name, and supplier number to supplier number, and vendor ID to vendor ID. Let me map all the columns. Tax organization type, supplier type, address name, country. Okay, address line 1 and city. Okay, validate. Okay, so mapping is completed. Okay, So once the mapping is completed, insert is completed, so we can enable a flag status. The status means successful, right? So what I'm going to do, let me take one more variable here. So click on here, status. Okay, where underscore status. That means data is getting inserted successfully, right? So status. So status, initially status is blank. Okay, so what we can do, once the data is inserted programmatically, we can enable a status, right? So again I'm going to take the assign activity after the insertion. So I'm going to enable assign activity to update the status. Okay, here my variable is where underscore status. Okay, click on here. So the status is successful. Okay, success. Okay, success. Okay, so sometimes whenever you declare a assign activity, it will come to before the for each activity. So again what I'm going to do, just you can cut this, paste here. Okay, paste. So whenever you are creating assign activity, give it some meaningful name so that we can understand. Okay, okay, count status. Okay, assign status, you can give any meaningful name. Okay, save it. Okay, save it. Because similarly for this assign activity also we can give you some meaningful name. Okay, this is assign count records. Assign count records, so that it is very easy to understand. Okay, save. Okay, it's also saved. Okay, here status is the successful, right? So within the scope activity, sometimes when you performing the database operation, sometimes if the table is not available, some any other errors. Okay, so we need to raise a response. We need to raise an exception, right? In the scope level, we have a default exception option. Okay, you can click on here. You need to raise a default handler, right? Click on the default handler. Okay, so in the default handler, what we can do in case of any errors, we need to update the variable status to failure. Okay, already we declare a variable here, right? Here we are mentioning the variable status. If you open this variable, right, here you can see success. But in case of failures, we need to update the variable status to failure. Okay, again to update this, okay, take the assign activity, click on here, status, here failure. Okay, fail. Okay, even you can add the error code, error reason, everything. Okay, for now, okay, I'm saving it. Okay, so now database operation is completed. Okay, now we are going to perform the second operation, second activity, that we need to write the file in SFTP location. So now in case of our file status, that means file status is success, then only we need to place the file in as SFTP server. Okay, so in order to handle this condition, take one more assign activity, or you can use the if clause. Otherwise what we can do, we can define one more scope, one more switch activity to check the size. Either you can check the size, or either you can check with the status. All right, in order to check the status, so what we can do, either you can take the if condition, right? So what I'm going to do, click on here. Take the switch activity here. Okay. So your file status, okay, here status is successful. That means success. Okay. We need to perform the action. Okay. We need to insert the data into our SFTP server, right? So this is my SFTP server location. Okay. So BIP is the location. So where we are going to place the file in this location, right? So in order to write the SFTP, in order to write the file in SFTP server, so let me configure the FTP connection. So ESR FTP connection is my connection name. Okay. So what we can do, write file SFTP. Okay. So we are writing the file in this location. Click on here. So I'm going to select the write file. Okay. So where you are going to write the file. So either you can mention the file name here, or either you can mention the file name at the mapping, right? So where we are going to write the file, this is our file name, right? But best practice is you have to declare this file location in a variable, and you can use this file variable in the mapping. Okay. For now, what I'm going to do, just I can mention here file name pattern also. I can just mention something like SYZ. Okay, we can handle through the mapping. Okay. So click on here. Okay. Do you want to specify the structure of the content of the file? No. Okay. Just we are taking the file reference. Finish. Okay. So now what I'm going to do? Now I'm going to start mapping the assignment. Okay. Click on here. So now I'm going to start mapping the values. Okay. Okay. Let's click on the stage write base 64 response. Okay. Within the ICS file, okay, you have a file reference and the properties, right? In the stage write base 64, we already generated the file into virtual location, right? Just we can use this stage activity for our mapping, right? Okay. From here, in the write response, you have a file reference. You can just map a reference. Okay. For output, open this output FTP header type. Here you can give from the properties, you can map the file name to file name. Okay, mapping is completed. So this directory already we can define while creating a FTP adapter connection. If you want to override it, so you can click on the create target node. Okay, you can give the FTP. Already we have provided, but if you want to override any new value, I'm taking the same thing. Okay, this is the directory where we are going to write the file. Okay, even you can declare this variable. Okay, validate. Okay, that's it. Close. Okay, so our integration is completed. See, let me go through the process once again. We started configure the request and response payload. Okay, after that we defined the couple of variables required for the integration. We defined the file path, okay, virtual location, okay, because this OIC file path we can use to convert the base 64, and we can generate the file into actual file format in the OIC virtual location. And also we have taken a variable count to calculate the response of the integration, and also we declare the file format CSV, and also we mention the status. Okay, we call the BIP report. Okay, and we generate the base64 format into actual file format. We have configured the OPK schema. We read the file. We insert the data in ATP tables, and we are tracking the status of the integration. In case of failures, we are updating the status of failure. Similarly, in case of this integration status is success, and we are writing the file in SFTP location. And the final thing, we need to map the values, right? Response, how many records are created. So what I'm going to do in the response, status we are already maintaining the status, where underscore status to status. Total records, total how many records are created. We already created a variable for this. Create target node. I'm going to use the concatenate function. Concate, search with the concate, drag and drop here. Just total records inserted. Just mention colon. So our total records we already taken in the var underscore count variable. Take this. That's it. So validate. Go back. Save the integration. So let me activate this integration. So once you run the integration, our expectation is we have to get the response. The response is status and how many records are inserted. And also we will go to the SFTP server. We will see the file is generated, and also we will check from the backend whether data is inserted or not. So I'm going back to backend tables. Let me execute the query. I don't see any records. Let me go back to SFTP server. I don't have any records. Let me run this integration. I'm running this parameter for Dell computers. Run this. Process is running. Now the integration is completed. I can see status is successful. Total records inserted 65. If I go back, if you see this, the table, right? Count rows. 65 rows are inserted. We can see the same response from the integration, and you can go. Let me go back to SFTP server. Click on refresh. The file is generated with the supplier master data. Open this. There are 65 records I can see in the file in the file format. So this is the way how we can build the integration in GEN-3. And by going through this integration, you can understand how we are going to invoke a BIP report, and how we can write the file in SFTP server, and also you can learn how we are going to insert the data into ATP tables. Please follow the same step for your practice. If you have any questions, please pin me in the YouTube group. Thanks.